Man, driving up these mountains on these roads is kind of cool at this point in time because I'm healing up every day. With PT, I'm getting stronger every day. I'm getting closer to my end goal of skiing again, and it honestly feels good just being able to come up here and even just walk around. It's a big step. I'm Jeffrey Gill, and I'm from Boise, Idaho. From the very beginning, my dad was a big avid skier growing up. He obviously moved away for college and stopped for a few years, but got back into the sport when he moved back to Boise, Idaho. And he brought me skiing at the age of 2 and saw my passion for it from the beginning, and eventually decided to put me in freeride programs and kind of just worked my way up into traveling and competing and doing the things I love now. One big major setback was when I was 14 years old. I was training for a nationals competition in Sun Valley, Idaho, and I was hitting the jumps all day just fine, and last run of the day, unfortunately, didn't make the gap on a 70-foot jump. I shattered my left heel, and I snapped my tibia and fibula on the other leg. First time I really pushed myself was probably when I went off to boarding school. I went from barely knowing single flips to doubles in the same year, and that's when I really felt that big push and big progression in the sport of skiing. Boarding school was due to COVID. I was home and really had nothing to do and wasn't doing well in online school. So my parents got an email from the boarding school and they offered me the opportunity to go, and I just decided to take it just because I love the sport of skiing so much and I thought it would be a good change of scenery for me. My sister went there before me. That's the main reason I chose Y East, and I just really liked the school. I've been to camp there before and had a great time in that camp. My first impressions were it was my literal dream in life. I mean, I got there and your backyard's a skate park, you have trampolines, you have the best coaches in the world. Really couldn't have asked for anything more in a good high school. One big factor that really helped me out was there's a lot of big names that were seniors in high school when I was there, like Connor Ralph, Tanner Blakely, Jackson Carstetter. They were all kind of up and coming US free ski team skiers. So just skiing with everyone every day would really push you to your limits, and it'd make you feel like a worse skier so that you'd progress faster in the end. It was COVID, so competitions were just kind of coming back into play. And my first one was actually at Crystal Mountain in Washington, and it was on the Throne, and I'd never competed there before, but ended up taking second place at that one, and it went really well. So in the junior freeride program, you do 2 national competitions and 3 regional competitions, and that is all that counts. So I did, I think, 2 more than that in the regional side, but I did well in my nationals, so I didn't continue to compete that season. The first season doing adult comps was really striking, honestly. It was kind of odd to see that people that are almost professional skiers can get into the bottom class events. So it's really hard to actually podium in them. But it was cool to really unlock my ability to do flips in competition, which you can't do in the junior series. So it was really uplifting just to be in that competition setting to where I can do flips and really max out my potential in the competition. And I ended up doing pretty well in one of them. In the Crystal competition, I ended up getting 5th place, and that was my best result last year. I was really ready to push it to the max and try to go pro this year and take it to the Freeride World Tour. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. So the competition in Boise is not what I normally do. It is a motocross ramp with snow on it as the takeoff, with a 35-foot gap in the middle and a storage crate as a landing. So you only really have 10 feet of landing off this almost 40-foot jump. And I went into it just for fun. I mean, there's a good cash prize in the end, but ultimately it's really good just to be seen at something like that, get in the edits with all the people that run it. And I was just there for fun, honestly, just as a good New Year's experience. I had a good experience the year before and had good vibes going into it. So the whole day I was jumping it just fine, doing tricks, had no altercations in my hits, everything was going fine. And it was my third hit in the competition where I kind of started feeling the speed get a little weird. So I decided to stop doing tricks for a hit, take the risk of not getting a score that run, and just kind of figure out my speed. And the next run going in, I was going for a cork 9, and the second I hit the takeoff of the jump, I could feel the pressure of my legs. Just the G-force going so hard, I guess I'd put it. And the second I was in the air, I knew I wasn't going to hit the landing. I went for the spot, like when I was in the top of my jump, and saw the landing directly below me, where I should have been landing at least, and knew I was going to take it way past the landing, and it wasn't good. So when I hit the ground, I felt my ski pop off, and my entire boot ended up collapsing, and I felt a really sharp pain. Instantly, I had so many people watching, my instinct was to get up, but the second I tried putting my foot on the ground, everything was numb in my left leg, so I assumed that I re-shattered my heel actually the first time, and kind of laid there for a minute and ended up getting rushed to the hospital after that when I realized things were not going well for my leg. When I first got to the hospital, I had to take a good hour in the car just realizing what just happened and like really understanding my future after something like that happens. You know it's not good. And initially the doctors told me that it was a stable fracture after they got x-rays and I was not going to need surgery or anything like that. But then I went to the doctor the next day and they informed me that I was going to need surgery, 8 screws, a plate, and also a torn tendon that I'd need sewed together. So I got scheduled for surgery the next day after that. I mean, going into a surgery like that, obviously, you know that you're probably going to be fine, but it's obviously scary getting put under and getting metal drilled into your leg. But I knew I was going to be fine in the long run, and it was good to get it done right away so I could get to the road to recovery fast as possible. It's definitely a big hit. I mean, I didn't really understand the gravity of what they did in the surgery until I actually started walking on it again. I didn't really think of anything crazy that was going to happen in that recovery process of not being able to weight bear and all the muscle I was going to lose on my legs, so that was definitely harder once I started putting weight on it for sure. I do have another surgery coming up in 3 months to get all the metal out of my leg this time, and it's definitely a long road, but I feel like once that second surgery happens, it's only a 10-day recovery after that, and then I'll finally be back to my full potential. The people I've met through the sport, a lot of great people traveling around and great friends that I've met just skiing at Bridger, and the great community of skiing. Everyone's so uplifting and supportive in it.
Honestly, driving up to a closed mountain now feels better that I'm not really missing out on everything. The season's over. I'm good as everyone else right now, just taking a break from skiing for the summer and getting back to my normal, usual self next year. Hey man, after I broke both my legs, that's what really taught me you can come back from anything. I was back the next season better than I ever was, had more drive for the sport than I ever did before. And there was definitely some pain factors there, but once you can kind of get over that in your head that you're fine and you're not broken anymore, you can really just kind of go back to your normal self and not really have to worry about your injury anymore or getting hurt. It's more of a mental game than actual physical things going on in your body. Looking back on the season, honestly, it sucks. I feel like I haven't talked to a lot of friends that I only get to see through skiing events, and missed a lot of opportunities, and a lot of people are landing new tricks and getting further ahead of me and getting better than me, so it definitely feels like a loss missing out on it, but all is not lost. I can always make a hard comeback with a lot of hard work.